Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day to you all, for everyone, wherever you are. God bless you all. Okay, so thank you very much for visiting this YouTube channel. Before I start my speech today, I'd like to introduce myself to you all first. My name is Puri Wardana. You can just call me Puri, and I'd like to abrupt my greatest gratitude to Mrs. Rahmati, who has given me the chance for me to speak up in this platform right now. Today I'm going to talk about one thing, which is actually, we can consider it as something controversial. This is something which is actually easy to find. This is something which is actually easy to recognize. It is probably still happening. No, I mean it is probably happening even right now somewhere else. It involves something with physical works. It involves money. It involves sweat, and the main point is it involves children. Today I'm going to talk about the topic which is talking about child labor in Indonesia, or the child workers in Indonesia. To start my speech today, maybe I'd like to start it with a very fundamental question, with a very essential question. Is it wise to employ children as workers? And I would like to answer it right away. My answer is yes, it could be. It could be wise, or more than just wise. Okay, so before I start talking, I would like to maybe to serve some one or two statements to be used as the considerations of my speech right now. So, in 2018, according to UNICEF, there are at least 2.7 millions of children which is involved in some forms of what is called as child workers. And around half of them, I mean 1.3 million, around 1.3 millions of children are under the age of 13. What a number, right? Under the age of 13. What were you doing at the age of 13? Okay, so it creates another question which is actually linked with that things. Is this practice is actually permitted by the government? Is permitted by the government? It has actually been regulated. It has actually been stated in law number 13 year 2003. It regulates that actually children is allowed to work, but under certain requirements. One of the requirement is that they should work only in a light class work that do not hurt their physical or their mental health. That's the first regulations. And the second important point of the regulation is that they are not allowed to work more than 3 hours. 3 hours, 240 minutes in a day. Yet, ironically, in the reality, we see many of them are working not in a light class of works. They work in the hard or difficult or heavy class of work. Yeah, just take an example for our brothers and sisters in Kalimantan. They work in a hard class work. They need to solder dozens of kilos of palm fruit every day. In Jorong, they break down rocks and solder it to be placed to the trucks, to be moved to the trucks. And in many more places in Indonesia, we need to put concern on them. They also do not do it. They do not do it in counts of 3 hours, but the whole day. Some of them even could be more than 6 hours works in a day, twice as what have been regulated. This is why many people condemn the company, condemn those people who employ children as workers. They condemn it by stating that you have kicked off them from how the children should be. You have kicked out their kicked out them from the education. You have kicked out them from the place that they should be. You have forced them to work for you to get money for you. So that is actually the first statement, and that is what I called as the misconception. The misconceptions of the reasons why. Why would children be doing labor? Why labor practices in Indonesia is everywhere. And now my second statement would be against the previous one, saying that, the children are forced in anything. The second statement is actually stated by the World Bank. According to the World Bank organizations in 2020, from 270 millions of Indonesian people, about 26.4 millions of Indonesians still live under the line of poverty. And because of it, it's not counted if it is aided with after the shock of the pandemic, it could increase up to 34 millions of people. They are living beyond. They are living beyond and below the line of poverty. This poverty rate is actually being the greatest cause why why child labor practices are everywhere in Indonesia. I believe that the majority of the children who work for the companies, they are not forced by the company itself. Not because they are kidnapped and then exploited to get money. No, no. But they do so because they want to help their families financially. They want to help their families to survive, to live, to to be surviving. So that is actually what is being the reasons why there are many of child workers in Indonesia. They actually, if I could say, they actually have no choice. That's the fact. If if they do not work, their families would be so difficult to live up the family. The family could be failing, could be in failure to survive, thrown in poverty. So they try to make it better. They do not want to be a burden for the family. So now you get the point, right, everyone? To make it clear, as a nation, we should be aware. We should be aware that this is Indonesia. This is the conditions that is owned by our country, Indonesia. Vanishing or eliminating 100% child labor or prohibiting 100% child labor in Indonesia, for me personally, might not be the best solution for the current condition of Indonesia, for the current situation of Indonesia, and might never be for the next 10 years. If children are not allowed to work, the children who live in the poverty are not allowed to work. They will not be able to help their parents. They will not earn money to help their parents. Instead of punishing or instead of eliminating 100% of the child labor practices in Indonesia, we, especially the authorities, should be able to give them proper jobs, should be able to give them protection, security, and then should be, give them a proper monitoring by strengthening the supervision from places to the other places about the child labors. And the government of Indonesia as well and us should support the stimulations towards them without stopping them from helping their parents. We are not going to cut what they're doing. We're not going to cut what have been being their purposes to work, but we help them to get a better life. That is why we have to clear up the Indonesia step by step. And step by step, when Indonesia has reached a certain level of prosperity, we can start to eliminate these practices stage by stage. I think that's all for me. Thank you very much for listening this far. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.